All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes approved. Reports, Norma?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Help you make up time. We're busy. We are busy. We are trying to finish up with the disaster checks. We've written about 4,400. We're kind of about 4,400, and I may be off a little bit on that. Disaster checks and
Time out. That you've already sent,
yes.
and you're working on another.
We're not sure. We've had, we've run into people who applied multiple times, so we're deleting those. We've run into people who are over income but didn't tell us that at first blush. Checks are coming back from bad addresses. We either didn't address them right or they moved. A multitude of strange things, as well as getting in touch with people. So because we can't do it with computers, we're doing all of this by hand, and there's mounds and mounds of paper. It is a very slow process, and we worked 2 weeks straight nights and pulled in. We're pulling in staff. We didn't get any extra staff. We're using the same staff, so that's one reason it's gone so slow. So,
And the total you took in application was what now?
about 5,200, about that. So it's been a pretty big number, but staff is still working away. Also wanted to let you know about our stoves. We have had a real difficult time getting carpenters, but we finally had 2 start about a month ago. We've installed 8 stoves through the REACH program. Those are all pellet stoves, and we've installed 6 with the tribal funds, and those are wood and pellet. So we're busy. When those guys don't have a stove to install, they're hauling pellets to folks and doing other kinds of, they'll be doing some weatherization with the REACH program, so they're real busy. All children's programs are always busy, and we are getting some more staff hired. And in Indian Child Welfare, we have a full staff at our meth prevention program in Mays County. That's going very well, and I'll try to give you a better report on that next month, but it's really, really going well. The community and the whole county has opened those folks with open arms. We're doing lots of prevention work, and we're hoping that behavioral health will get their counselor hired up there soon. They're having difficulty finding someone, but we're just excited about what's happening with that project, and hope, in the near future we'll get to expand it to other places, but I think we're going to have a good model. That's really all I have this afternoon. I'll invite questions, and then I'll tell you that I am going to have to leave immediately, but I'll leave it in the good hands of my colleagues, Linda Van and Lori Hand. That rhymes. I didn't do that on purpose.
Any questions for Norma? Norma, I have one question. Have you visited with Mr. Russell from Oaks? It's probably the ICW about placement.
Oh, yes. I met with, yes, you're talking about the mission? I actually met with he and 2 of the board members. We had a very good discussion, and I believe he and Hetty Charbonneau got together. I haven't heard that they didn't. I know they were planning to, and have not heard that they did not get together.
Is that something that might be possible?
Oh, yes. In fact, I think they were used in the past, and I think that everyone, when I talked to ICW, said, sometimes you just forget, and there was also some I think there were some things that I'm not talking about anything bad that happened, but there was just some difficulties in the past, and now we have, I think things are going a little bit better. They lost their director in a timely death, I think, and so I think we're back on track now. We're going to get that way. So that was a great visit with them.
Okay, good.
So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Bill John?
Best guess on when the disaster relief will be complete?
Oh gosh, I wish I could tell you tomorrow, but I think we're going to have stragglers for a few more weeks in terms of trying to get final things worked out on folks. What we're doing now actually is going back as we simultaneously work on these that we know we have little things to clean up and find new addresses. We're simultaneously reviewing duplicate copies to make sure we haven't missed anyone. Because what we did when those applications came in, we made duplicates. So we had an original and a duplicate, and they were also entered on a database. And we've had a couple of people that have called in and don't show up anywhere, and we don't know why. Other than, we also have sign-in sheets. So we found a couple of people that weren't on the sign-in sheets, and what we've usually backtracked it to is that maybe they really didn't apply. There were some people that got a copy, we don't know how, of applications and made copies, and they mailed them in, and that is not valid, okay? They just are not valid. They had to see somebody. So now some of those are coming up, so there's a lot of really weird, I mean, you couldn't dream up some of the situations that we've had.
Well, I guess my question is, earlier I was getting a lot of phone calls and visited with you, not specifically, but what the time frame was you were sending out 2,000 checks that Friday, and then you thought you were going to be able to send out 2,000 more the next Friday.
And we've sent out probably a few hundred checks almost every day.
Okay. And so, anyway, at this point, if I talk to them, it's almost been long enough now that maybe they could contact somebody?
Oh, sure. Well, people call us all the time.
Well, but I've been kind of putting them off saying, if you don't get it Monday, call me,
Right.
Or Tuesday.
No, have them call us because I fear now, although that's why we're going back and doing this double check to make sure, because there's some people that would never call, right?
Yeah.
And we're really trying to make sure we haven't left anybody out. So please have them call. Tell them to be patient with the
So
call.
who do I stick them on?
Just go ahead and have them call the Human Services Desk, 5422-453-5422.
Okay.
Because I'm really not sure if that little message when you call in says for disaster assistance contact, because they were talking about taking that down on Monday.
Oh, okay. Don?
Norma, is there a maximum amount or an average or something you could tell me?
When we did the first 200,000, the average check from that group was $380. We feel like that's gone down. I'm going to say it's about $340, $350, and that's just off the top of my head. But I feel sure it went down because we begin to get people who maybe didn't have a food loss or food only. We found out we got into a lot of people who didn't really have a shelter cost, and that was one of the things. And when we get calls from people who say, my check's not as much as my brother's was, I always ask them, do you have children? Is it just one in the home, two in the home? Do you have a house payment or rental payment? And if they don't, that's usually why their check was one of the major reasons, because we were covering shelter and food.
And Norma, if you come across, I know I had one elderly lady, didn't think she had any losses, but after everything got back to normal, electricity come on, she found out her heater wasn't working, and it was due, something had happened due to the ice storm. And I sent her to the office, the General Assistant Office of Affairs, and she got help.
But it may not have been through disaster. It may have been through one of our other programs. Right now, we're really trying not to do any more with that disaster program in terms of application.
But just send them to there in case.
Yeah, if they're in distress,
she got help.
Yeah, just do it the regular way. But I will tell you, if we're finding some elder or disabled person who, for some reason, they were in the hospital, the child took them to Oklahoma City to get over this, who really didn't receive help, we're still going out and visiting with them to see what we can do. But we're really, really trying to stop doing and it's pretty well died down.
Okay. All right. Any more questions? Thank you, Norma. Next, Charlie. Dollar or...
I won't keep you long. I know all of you want to go hunt some wild onions or something. That time of the year. Billy Hicks usually makes the report on water and sanitation, but he's off this afternoon to a funeral. But overall, the projects are moving along well as far as the water and sanitation portion of it. And housing, those weather's cleared up, and those are moving along. David, the way to Chick Lake house should be done today. So they're happy people there, and Ed Smith and Robert Johnson's house, they're waiting on purchasing to award the contract for the slab. And Joe, the England Hollow group, they've got 2 walls standing up. One has the roof on. There's 3, and then 1 slab that they haven't started anything on yet. So there's 4 at England Hollow that's doing really well. And then Mike Eagles' pad's built, and then Shelley Locker's, they're working on an easement right now. So,
Jeff?
Charlie, would they take some donated elbow grease if a guy went by there?
bet you any time.
Okay.
Okay, and then Chelsea, there's 5 slabs that's been poured, and 1 house is up as far as the walls, and so we have 5 units there, so that's doing really well. That area up there is really kind of muddy. It's a lot of clay, so it took time to dry for all the mud to dry up. So after all that, we moved in and started putting the materials and putting the houses up. In Kenwood, we're still doing some surveying, ongoing surveys going on, some legal title opinions, and so Uchis, same situation, and Dry Creek, we're still doing some legal opinions on that. So I think everything's going to break loose here on all the houses, 27 units that we're working on now. We get some of these legal surveys done. Water lines, as far as, like I said, Billy's got several water lines going, but as far as the self-help water, Ballou installed about 3, where's Mr. Keener? They're put in about 3 miles. And Tailhope, they work on weekends, and the 5 days they work, they've installed about 2 miles of water line. Again, this is self-help. Titanic, another project they're working on design. And Dry Creek is the one, and that's where we're working with the Rocky Mountain, Jackson Mountain, so their designs are being worked on, and so once we get out of Ballou, we'll be moving equipment to Dry Creek, and hopefully somewhere next year we'll be up into the Jackson Mountain area. And as far as community works are kicking off, and there's about 2 or 3 of them that's really doing some work since the weather's cleared up, and with Rick Gasaway's Compassion Capital, they're still providing technical assistance to a lot of several of those community organizations. And actually, that's about it. Any questions?
Charlie, I had a lady that had asked a call about a septic and water, I believe it was, and she was told there's 2-year waiting list. Is that so?
Who is it?
I'll tell you after the meeting.
All right.
Okay, and see the other, and the Kenwood, you said there's not any house slabs or anything been poured yet down there?
Not yet. Not yet.
Any
Actually, they're in the
questions?
process of moving a trailer where they're going to build a new house. It's going to be one of the first ones that we're going to be pouring,
Oh, okay.
doing dirt work on. So they're ready for that one, but the family hasn't moved the trailer out of the way, so where they're going to build that new
Build the
house
house,
on it.
okay. Phyllis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Charlie, do you have a list of those groups that got the community work projects?
Yes, we do. I'll have to send it to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any more questions for Charlie? Okay, Charlie, well, don't. David?
I've been doing some things we're looking at, have been looking at over the last few months. Proposals on a software system. We're looking to upgrade our software. Went over this morning somewhat, and we've had staff go to Montana and to Tennessee to look at some different systems, and all I got out of this morning was, man, this stuff's expensive. So we may be maybe upgrading what we've already got if it's possible. That's a big deal, and I didn't know it was going to maybe be as expensive as it was, and I was kind of depressed ever since I've been to that meeting. But anyway, we're also some of the stuff we're doing out in the area office looking for in certain areas sites to develop for rental housing, apartments, specifically around the J area. We'd like to put something up there because there just isn't anything. We
Ain't no house there.
can't do rental assistance effectively because there's just nothing to do up there. So, also in Salisal, we really don't have a big rental presence down there. The Cherokee apartments, of course, the tribe has those, but they're for elderly. So we really don't have anything in that area. We are looking. We've been busy with the mortgage assistance program. At the end of January, I don't have February numbers here. I have them at the end of the week, but through January, we've done 67 mortgage assistance, which is on a pace to do about 225 or so. But, we've kind of implemented this new deal, this assumable thing for folks that just can't get one or can't get a reasonable interest rate. And we finally have completed one of those. We've signed, moved the family in, but we've also got 3 or 4 contracts on houses to buy. But just some numbers. Area 1, I didn't break it down by county, but Area 1, which is Wagner and Cherokee and Adair, they've done 18 mortgage assistance. And Area 2, which is Rogers and Tulsa, Washington, Nowata, and Craig, which they've done several of these the last quarter of the physical year of 06. They've only done 14, but they've got a bunch in processing up there. Area 3, Sequoia County and Muskogee and McIntosh have done 24, and Area 4, which is Delaware, Mays, and Ottawa, have done 11. So, which generated about $5.5 million in leverage funds through their mortgages. So, they're generating some money out there, and like I said, we could do as many as 225 of these this fiscal year, which is a good number. Our Community Shield program, we've got about 2,200 families on that. The ice storm, there's somewhere around 50 claims that were filed. They're still filing some claims on those. When they get pretty heavy rain, all of a sudden they find that there was some damage in certain areas. So, and then the Native American Shield, which we don't offer that any longer, but there was about 40 claims on that program. We're working with Charlie Group, Billy Hicks specifically, about the Kenwood lift station, to upgrade that. They're probably going to partner in on that thing. No, not probably. I think I agreed to do that. So, we're also looking at partnering with the Creek Housing Authority, where Ron Falls is at, on Blacktop, and an addition over at OK, where we've got some houses. They're older houses, but it'd really help the whole thing, make it a really nice neighborhood if they had paved roads. That's the only drawback of that whole addition. It's really nice. That's all I have today. If anyone's got any questions.
Captain Bob?
Thank you, Madam Chair. David, the property Stillwell there around the senior housing project or facility, are there any future plans for that acreage?
We would like to do what we got it for, and that's to do a tax credit project. We got a piece of property in Pryor proper, 20 acres there. We'd like to do it just like the Vian deal.
Yeah.
The problem is we're still waiting on HUD and the IRS to work out their wording on rental assistance. Right now, the 4 tax credit projects we have, we're subsidizing those with rental assistance. Only we're using it out of our non-federal money, our proceeds of sale. And once you get into that, we just have not wanted to obtain another tax credit projects and have to use those non-federal funds. We want to be able to use the HOSTA money. And it's a simple cure, but you guys dealt with the federal government. It's terrible. They had to wait. This has been since 2003. They've been dealing with this issue. The Section 8 money, which is, it comes through HUD just like the HOSTA does, it specifically says will not be considered as federal funds if you use it in conjunction with a tax credit project. That's all they need is to add the word HOSTA in there, and HOSTA and Section 8 funds, and it's fixed. But it's just, we don't want to use those non-federal funds for that rental assistance. But we'd like to use that property for that.
Yeah, well, good. Thank you.
And just that, Diane, that's actually really a non-for-profit deal, but this actually generates a little bit of profit. Kind of helps sustain the other 3. So we're really anxious to do that.
I hope it works out.
Any more questions for David? Okay, well, thanks, David.
Thank you.
Audra?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to add under, to amend the agenda, move to amend the agenda to add item number 2 under new business, resolution authorizing the Child Care Development to prepare and submit an application for continued funding of child care resource and referral services. It came in after the agenda had been posted, and I think everybody's gotten a copy of that.
And second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Approved. And there'll be item number 2 on new business. Okay, old business, we don't have any. New business, Department of Children, Youth, and Family Services, is that Linda?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
This is a continuation grant that is before you. It supplements the services of the Ketcher Youth Services Center, also known as the Youth Shelter, and the Indian Child Welfare Program.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you, Linda.
You did a good job.
She wasn't through.
Okay, the next one is Laura.
Move for approval. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Approved. Announcement, next meeting is Tuesday, April 17th at 2 p.m. Adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.